Hey everybody, welcome to The Practical Place. My name is Ryan Holguin, and this channel is primarily geared towards young professionals or those trying to break into corporate America or as a professional in their career. And so I like to do tutorials like this where I walk through sort of best practices or things I've learned along the way just in my 10 years of experience working in corporate America. Started off in customer service. Now I'm in marketing, working as sort of a chief of staff. I give some data insight. I do some project management, things like that. And so yeah, I just want to share this, and I wish I had a platform like this whenever I was younger in my career where I could just learn really random but really helpful tools that you don't learn until you get on the job. And so in today's video, I really wanted to go through something very simple, but it's really about what to do whenever you get an Excel spreadsheet sent to you, right? So a lot of the times we'll work in, at least in my experience, right? A lot of teams use Microsoft Excel. Obviously a lot of companies use Microsoft and all the Microsoft 365 tools and softwares and things. And so one of the things I noticed even this week was people use it, but sometimes whenever you get the data or whenever you get the table emailed to you or sent to you, it's either not organized or it's formatted kind of weird. And so I just kind of wanted to share a few things that come to mind that I usually do as soon as I get a file sent to me, right? Or an Excel workbook sent to me. And this is really going to cover that. And so when I was early on in my career, let's say I got an email with this information in here, right? A lot of the times, some of this text might be covered. And then you could go through it, right? And you can double click here on each column. And I'm using the Microsoft web version, by the way, because I don't pay for it. And so this is the web version, but everything in the desktop app should be pretty much transferable, right? So that's that. But anyways, what you could do is you could click through here, but imagine if you got a lot of columns of data, and this was all over the place. And even some of this was, a little bit taller than others. For one of the first things I do is I select right here. I click this option up here where it selects all of the fields in the entire table. And what I do is I go to format here and I auto fit to the column width. And so everything is showing. And then I auto fit to the height, right? And so as you can see, everything's even. Now it's going to be a little bit different, right? If you have I'm trying to think of a long text thread here. None of these have a long text thread, but it might be a little bit different if you have somebody wrapping their text. So if I were to do something like this, I could go to auto height, I think. Yeah, and it's going to, so some of this, because it's going to be wrapped, it's going to make those heights a lot taller. And so it depends on the project type, but a lot of the times I will not have a wrap text and I will then just have the auto fit feature here once I select all the cells, just so that I can clearly see everything whenever I'm looking at it. Again, this is only 31 rows of data or 30 rows of data because one row is the headers. But a lot of the times, you could think, hundreds or thousands, if not rows of data. I don't have access to Power Query, but I do use Power Query whenever it comes to organizing data and filling in a lot of empty fields and things like that. So maybe I get it and I can show you that in another video. But I do recommend using Power Query if you want to organize your data as well. Another really key thing that I do, one of the things I used to do is I would select the headers here. I would basically, copy this entire table. I would go to format the cells, and then I would add a border. A lot of the times, if you watch my earlier videos, you probably saw that I did this, right? Maybe like 2 years ago. I would do this, and then I would color my headers to make it look a lot nicer, right? And maybe this first column here. And then that's kind of how I would do it, right? But let me undo a few of these things. Now what I do is to skip all of this. And some of this might seem elementary, but again, this is for young professionals or those who may just not know some of these best practices or some of the tricks of the trade when it comes to dealing with Excel workbooks a lot or any of these products that I talk about. So what I do is I like to select anywhere in this data set, and I like to insert a table because it's basically going to do all that for you. Another thing that I'll show you here in a minute is I'll show you right now. What I used to do before I get to the table part, I used to go in here and I would add filters because sometimes I would want to organize the data, right? And whenever the filter would pop up, it would cover up some of the names. And so I would, again, go back to auto fit the width. Let's do that. And now I can see everything. And then I'd want to organize it by, in alphabetical order by product line, right? And I can do that. And that's very good. But the problem is that I would run into is sometimes I would have different data sets on one sheet just by way of sometimes the projects. That's how they sent the files over to me. So I have to work with that. And let's just say I have the same data set over here or another table over here of data set, and I wanted to enter filters right here. Well, the problem with that is I have to remove the filters from over here to add them over onto this data set now. And in some cases, maybe that's helpful. And I did that for a long time. But what I've learned now is that, or in the past several years, is what I've been doing is I'll come over here and I'll go to insert table. And it's going to ask you, my Excel is pretty good at recognizing your entire data set. So it's going to tell you here, and I can validate it just looking in the background here. It's going to select the entire range from A1 all the way down to I31. And I see that's my entire set here. So, and then you want to make sure you check this, assuming you do have your headers, that your table does have headers. What that means is it's going to take the first row of data and it's going to attach that as the header. And so that's why you want to check that. So when I check that, now I have and it formats it, right? If I wanted to go change the design, sometimes I do the green here. If I like that, I'll keep it like that. Otherwise, let me just keep it at this again. So now I have the filters here. I also, as you notice, I have filters here, so I can come over here and I can add a table here. I'm going to do the same thing. And now what I can do is I can organize this one however I want, and then I can organize this one however I want. And you can see these things are independent of each other now, whereas before the filters were sort of connected and you can only use it on one data set and one sheet. And so, whenever I've gotten, even this week, I've gotten an Excel workbook sent for whatever reason, right? A different project or whatever the case may be. What I do is I auto fit everything so that I can see it. And then I add a table because then from there I can sort however I need to, right? I can go to market segment. All I want to see is the commercial products. I can apply that here. Of course, one of the downsides is, as you can see, it collapse all the rows, right? Associated with that. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're using multiple data sets or tables on one sheet. But that's really what I do. One of the first few things that I do whenever I receive a Excel workbook. And again, I make this video because it seems very simple as I talk about it, but there are so many times I get, and even today where I work with a lot of great people, a lot of smart people, a lot of professionals, but I really enjoy working in Excel, or I enjoy working in some of these softwares, but other people don't. They're really good at strategy, right? And so they send over workbooks with the data in there. It's just not organized. And whenever I can get it into a table format, and it's color coded and it's organized and it looks nice, it looks nice. Then I can really organize it using some of these filters, and I can start really analyzing the data this way. And so one of the key things I do, again, get the data, select it all. Make sure I auto fit everything into the proper width and the proper height to make sure I can see all the text and all the data. And then another thing is I make sure that my column types are correct, right? This is revenue, and it's really just the general type here. So I would come here and I know that it's going to be, it's not percentage, it's going to be dollars, right? So now I can do dollars. This is a date here. This is general, but I can do a short date. I like that. This is a cost as well. So it's another dollar amount there. So I also like to obviously make sure that the data types are correct as well. That's where I talked about Power Query. You do a lot of that in Power Query, and then it converts it to a table within the workbook for you, and it's a lot easier. But again, yeah, I auto fit the text height and width, and then I add a table, insert a table going to the insert tab and then selecting table, make sure I have headers, and then kind of go about my way on the project there. So let me know if that was helpful in the comments below. If there's other insights or other questions you had about tables, or even just auto fitting the formatting and things like that, I'd be happy to answer those. But if you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful for you, really quick to the point, please give it a like and subscribe here to The Practical Place, almost to 450 subscribers after a few years. So really thankful for that, trying to get to 500 and then see how far we can go from there. Really appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.